everybody. I'm Jon Pratt, the Assistant Head of School for Academics. And I wanted to, I get the fun part of tonight's presentation. I get to build the case for why this is an exciting device for use in the classroom. So where do we see this going? And hopefully it's going somewhere that ends up on the screen.
Sure. Do the other one well.
If I'm opening it wrong here, or okay, so why are we going to learn with the iPad? So what I envision on the first day of school, I taught in the classroom for 8 years, and actually I'm a little sad because this is the first year since I've been in education that I'm not going to be in the classroom, but I think with this iPad project coming out, and we need to make sure that we really get a good return on our investment here, I need to make sure that I'm in lots of classrooms and helping teachers get the maximum value out of this device. I was lucky enough to go out to California a couple weeks back and attend what was called Apple Academy, which everything was provided by Apple. It was a great professional development experience, and really came back feeling very empowered with the knowledge to help our faculty to make the most out of this device. So when I think about how I start my class every year, every day, I just say, you need to bring something to write with and something to write on. And so what's the reason for this? Well, students need a notebook. I'm going to be giving them information, and I want them to create some sort of record of the information that I've shared with them, some sort of record of the thoughts they have while they're interacting with that information, and some ability to create a document or some other type of artifact to show what they've learned. In that process, there are going to be some due dates, there are going to be some meeting times, and I want them to be able to keep track of that. Usually I suggest that they get a daily planner, but frankly that could go to notebook as well. The other thing that's going to happen is I'm looking for them to keep track of the assignments. And so the iPad presents us with those digital tools of having a notebook, having a daily planner, and having a to-do list. So the question sort of becomes, why is it that we're interested in replacing these existing tools? For example, like we saw in the funny video about books. Why is it that the digital tools are better? Well, what we have when we make a digital notebook is we have the ability to search. And so I can't tell you the number of times as a classroom teacher that I would ask students to get out notes. A few weeks back we studied parts of the cell. And so now we're going to try and understand cancer, and we're going to try and understand genetic expression. So I need you to refresh your memory on what parts of the cell are involved with genetic expression. And so you see fumbling, it's like, geez, I don't know about that notebook to school today. What page did I write it on? Now they can do a keyword search for parts of the cell and pull that up, just like a local Google search of your notebook. The other nice thing is, and there are a lot of different ways around this barn, we want to be able to remind students of what we asked them to do. And so with a digital daily planner and with a digital to-do list, you can actually get chirps, on your iPad. Something pops up and says, hey, this assignment is due tomorrow. Or hey, you said you were going to do homework at 7 o'clock. It's 6:50, might be time to start logging on the Facebook chat. So it provides you with those interactive reminders to be able to do a little bit more than just a traditional paper one sitting in the backpack. The other thing that is neat about this is when you use digital tools and the right digital tools, you can really collaborate in powerful ways that you can't do with older artifacts. And so we have a Google Apps platform that is going to allow us to email out our notes to other students that we're working on a project with to make sure that we're working from the same base of information. Or, for example, parents might want to have the login information for their student's account, so that they can verify that they're actually using the to-do list. All of this stuff is networked and can be accessed on other devices other than the iPad. So by using those tools in the right way, and we're going to teach everybody how to use them, we can do things with digital tools that simply can't be done or can't be done as easily with traditional tools. The other thing that's really fantastic about this particular device is that it allows our students to access their abilities in their own unique ways. We're all different learners. We all have different learning styles. And maybe instead of taking notes, I want to record the classroom information session. Maybe when I'm reading, I might need to present things in larger font. Maybe my eyes are not as good, or maybe I simply get distracted by having lots of words on page, and I want to be able to manage that information to make it as easy as possible for me to show what I can do, rather than asking or needing getting interference and having things limit me in terms of my abilities. Another big thing, as a school that has a large population of students for whom English is not their native language, and an even larger population of students who are learning world languages, this is a device that can actually run in a multitude of different languages. So it can even run in Cherokee, which just blows my mind. So you can do it in Chinese, French, Spanish, and all kinds of other different languages to really, again, access abilities and hit learning targets. Now, a big learning target, of course, with academics is books, and more books. So, again, in this part of it, I'm trying to build a case for why is it that digital books are perhaps a better or have more capabilities than traditional books. And so, for example, one of the things that we have to do is read individual texts. And so when I hand out a textbook at the beginning of my class, I do it very gently. I say, I'm not actually handing this notes, complete works of Will Shakespeare, but I might give this to you and say, please treat this very carefully. Don't write it. Don't make any notes. Please return this as close to how I'm giving it to you as possible so that we can use it again. And really what that does is it sends the message of tread lightly. Don't dig in, don't make this your own. Whereas when we share books with students on the iPad, we want to encourage them to highlight. You can, as you can see on the screen behind me, you can make highlights, you can set bookmarks, you can take notes and email those notes to your teachers, and even more so, the little pop-up screen that you can see right here. That's so that is a built-in dictionary. So if I'm reading and I don't understand a word, rather than skipping over it and not understanding the full nature of the text, I can now touch and hold on that word, and one of the options that's going to come up is a dictionary entry for that particular word. So that's a very powerful thing. And again, I've got the same digital tools of text search. So I don't need glossary, I don't need someone else's index. If they didn't think that a word was worth indexing or putting in the glossary, I can still look it up and I can still search for other instances of that word in the text. And again, I can make it accessible, I can change the font, I can change the font size, I can even do black on white, which is helpful for some learners, and I can even actually have the iPad read the book to me. So it has accessibility built into it that's so profound that I've actually witnessed a person using the iPad without looking at it. So you can be completely blind and still use this device and hit those learning targets. I think it's just incredibly powerful. Around the world, we take books that have fallen out of copyright and they retype them. And they make them freely available, which is completely legal. Okay? Anything published before 1930 or so falls under a different set of copyright rules, and unless the person or the family protected it, it's now in the public domain, so it's free for us to use. So classics like the entire works of William Shakespeare are available for free, for download, through this iBook store, as well as many other classics like Jane Eyre, a lot of the things that we use in our English classrooms. So I would fully anticipate, to extend upon the question that was asked earlier about do we anticipate using digital textbooks, I certainly anticipate that in many of our English classes we will be using this iBooks platform.